Hey everybody, this is Lisa Nehring from True North Homeschool Academy, and I'm really honored to be part of the Homeschool Moms Summer Summit. I know that everybody's probably really excited to get done with the school year this year and to move on to summer. I know at least where I live, we sure are. I live in the upper North Midwest, and so it's finally green out. The tulips are blooming, and we're glad to be taking evening walks and those kind of things. So one of my sessions at this summit is talking about when getting it all done doesn't work. And I think as homeschool moms, we all have felt this way, regardless of if we have one kid or 12, if we're working homeschool moms on top of being a homeschool mom. And look, this is what I always say. If you're homeschooling, that's a job. If you're working outside of homeschooling and managing a home, that's a job. Managing a home is a job. Parenting and being a spouse, these are all jobs. So we have a lot on our plates, and it can just be so much to try to get it all done. So I want to give you some really simple tips and tricks to help you maybe get it all done so you don't feel that sense of overwhelm and you can just feel that you're getting where you need to go and it's not super stressful to you. So hopefully this workshop is practical and helpful to you. We had 5 kids. We homeschooled for 30 years. Our kids are ages 19 to 35. And so at one point we had kids. We had 5 kids at home. We had a, a baby, a preschooler, an elementary school student, a junior higher, and a high schooler. And then they just kept moving up. So then, at the next point, we had like a kindergartner and an elementary kid and a junior high and a high schooler and a college kid. And so their needs are really very different, obviously. We lived on an acreage. And we in the middle there somewhere, we had a house fire. We were rebuilding our home. So we've had a lot of life going on, like all of you as well. And trying to just maintain all of the laundry and the food and homeschooling with a lot of different ages and different needs was challenging. I mean, it is just challenging to homeschool and to intentionally parent and to take care of the educational needs of your kids. One thing that I really found was just creating daily rhythms. I'm not like a super type A person, so I like to make big lists of everything I need to get done and just mark off the list. But if I have to schedule like 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, it kind of stresses me out. So you want to take into account who you are and what rhythms work really well for you. What are naturally occurring rhythms for you as you're managing your home and what aren't, and work within that and work with your spouse. Um, what we always did is we had a morning meeting. Morning baskets are great too. Pam Barnhill's, materials are really terrific, but we had a morning meeting every day at 9 for 1 hour. And we limited the time because we really enjoyed that time. And if we didn't put a time limit on it, that would have been the rest of our morning. So the parameters around the morning meeting were everybody had to get up and eat and do their chores before the morning meeting at 9 a.m. And so if they wanted to get up at quarter of and rush through it all, as long as it was done, I was fine with that. Or if they wanted to get up 2 hours early and take their time and read a book and whatever, they could do that too. And I honestly felt like that actually gave the kids some autonomy and helped them build some life skills about time management and really deciding and determining for themselves what was important to them. So at 9 o'clock, we'd have a morning meeting, and we actually had all of our stuff in a basket, and we varied it up year by year, but we would put things in there like memory work, devotions, map work, art and music sheets, and things like that. This is the time that we actually did our family Bible study and devotions, not our family, but like our schoolwork, Bible study and devotions. And we did a lot of reading about church history, and we would actually read the Bible together. We would just start at the beginning of the book and read through. And this is when we did Bible memory or Latin memory. We'd get out maps and really look at maps at this time and stuff like that. It was really a rich educational time. It included all of the kids, no matter what their ages were. If they were at home, they were all part of the morning meeting, and we really had a good time doing that. And if I couldn't read it or got tired of reading, the kids would take turns reading, which was, developed other great skills of being able to read out loud and interact and all those kind of things. So that was the first thing that we did is we had a set morning meeting, and things had to happen before the morning meeting, and then the morning meeting would happen. Then the rest of the morning was we would just focus on skill-based learning at that time. And I know this has kind of got a summer focus, but you could absolutely use this in the summer too. So if you're changing up your routine from academic skills, you could move into things like handcrafts or farm skills or whatever kind of skills you really want your kids to learn. But we would always do skill-based learning in the morning. That would include math and Latin, more detailed kind of work when brains are fresher, and they could really tackle those kind of things. And then we would break for food and people running around the house and things like that, because we do have a couple kids that are really gifted and ADD. And so it's just, and plus you just have to get up and move around, right? So we would take a break, we would eat together, we would make simple food for lunch, very, very simple. And then the afternoon, we would do content-based learning. So this is stuff like literature reading, history reading, more Bible or church history reading, those kind of things. And we'd spend a lot of time outside. Again, we lived on an acreage, so we had a lot of projects all the time that we were working on, and we did all that work together. We also had a really large garden for a lot of years, and so we did the gardening together. And my daughter, one of my 30-year-old kiddos was just talking to me last week about how she had fond memories of everybody weeding while I read the Epic of Gilgamesh out loud to them. So that was fun. But you can always, I mean, summer doesn't have to be the end of academic work either. And so we would do a lot of gardening while we took turns reading. That's the other thing that I've always done in our family is share books. We read them and then share them with the next person, or we read them out loud together. And so I would really encourage that. And then we would have dinner because of my husband's schedule. We often had dinner very late, and because of where I live, it's often in the summer, it's light, really late. So we would have dinner, then go on maybe walks, read out loud together, or have a bonfire outside, or a fire on our acreage, and just spend time outside. So that was always, we really loved doing that in the summer. One of the things I think could be really fun to do in the summer is to do summer challenges or scavenger hunts, or even a bingo card. Making summer bucket lists. We do have a free summer bucket list at True North Homeschool Academy. You can just go to the website, truenorthhomeschoolacademy.com, and go to printables, and there's bucket lists by seasons on there. But one of the things that we have done is done challenges. And I think everybody's familiar with reading challenges. We always did this in our library when I was growing up, is they would have a summer reading challenge. And you could certainly make a summer reading challenge for your kids, regardless of what their ages are. My kids always had the opposite problem. Instead of trying to get them to read, I was always like, if they got in trouble, we would take the books away, kind of thing. But you could make a directed summer reading challenge. Like it could be a horse reading challenge, or a space reading challenge, or just an interest-led challenge, or they can just go with whatever they want to do, or you could do a college prep reading challenge. I love the idea of doing a writing challenge too. NaNoWriMo for teens has some great resources, and they're free at the website. You could do the 100 hours outside challenge. I know actually some of the teachers at True North Homeschool Academy are doing the 100 hours outside, and they're posting muddy feet every week, and it's just so fun to see their little kids out there enjoying nature. But that is a great challenge. Our kids need more green therapy in their lives, so don't be afraid to get them outside. How about just a general PE challenge? I know my sons actually did the Navy SEALs challenge, and you can get that free online. You can actually just Google challenge and come up with a ton of them. But they did the Navy SEAL challenge, and that includes push-ups and sit-ups and running and all the things. And actually, they really went after it. They would spend like 45 minutes to an hour a day doing it. How about a Lego build challenge? I think, and you could just make this really fun and just make a list of, make an animal, make a building. You could just add things to it, or you could get them in on the challenge to help them, have them help you create the challenge, print it off and post it somewhere so that they can just see their how they're progressing with the challenge. I also like the idea of doing life skills in the summer, because I don't know about you, but generally for us, we have a lighter schedule, lighter academic schedule. We don't have co-ops and stuff going on in the summer as much. And so doing things like life skills, like even a cooking challenge. I did a podcast on this, getting the joy of cooking, or the Usborne first cookbook, and just working through it with your kids, helping them learn how to make like simple sauces, the terms of kitchen work, and the basic tools of kitchen work. Or you could even do that with tools as well. Just what are basic tools? What are they for? What's the difference between a Phillips screwdriver and a regular screwdriver, a flathead? Things like that can be really useful and helpful as you go through life. But you could do other practical life skills kind of things as well, besides just cooking and simple tools. You could absolutely do personal finance or budgeting or whatever. So I like summer as a time to really fill in some of the blanks that I feel like my kids need to know, that just doesn't seem like there's a lot of time or room in our schedule for during the regular school year. Summer's just a great time to do that. And making a challenge of it makes it just really fun. Like who can bake the best chocolate chip cookies? And if you really get to the point where your kids are really into the challenge, you could have like a chopped or a silver spoon competition with other friends or homeschoolers in the neighborhood. The other thing I think summer is really super fun with is scavenger hunts, and you can do this by the day, week, and season. This is also a really fun way to like just really bring some order and ability to get it all done in your day. If you're doing challenges, you've gamified the learning for the kids. If you're doing scavenger hunts or bingo cards, you're gamifying things for the kids, and it's a great way to motivate them. I know a lot of us have trouble sometimes motivating our kids to do the work that we want them to do. And gamifying is a really simple way to get them interested, to have them buy in and to get them motivated, especially if there's a reward or something really fun at the end of it. So this is a great way to order your day and your week as well. If you're working on a challenge together, I think it can be really helpful and motivational to the kids to go, well, I don't want to just like hang out because I'm working on this challenge and I really want to get to the end of it so that I can earn that prize or get that book or whatever reward that there is built into it. The other thing I want to just talk about is two really basic areas that we all have to deal with in our lives, and that is laundry, the dreaded laundry, and cooking, and how to manage the kitchen. Because I think these are both areas that really, I used to joke years and years ago that I never knew anybody who quit homeschooling because of academics or actually schooling their kids. They actually quit homeschooling because it was so difficult to manage a house while you homeschooled kids. So the two ways that we ended up managing both of those areas and just bringing order to our day was that we did batch cooking, and for a while we did month cooking, month batch cooking. We even did breakfast, we did lunches, we did snacks. There's some great recipes for breakfast, once a month cooking. But that really got to be a lot. And my husband actually confessed to me that he didn't like freezer food that had been in the freezer for a month. So I had to rethink my plan. But we actually went to batch cooking. So what I would do was just get meat for the week and cook it all on the weekends. I would do the basic things like onions and green peppers and mushrooms and make those kind of things that I would saute, and then we would add them to the meat. Then it was simple to do, a stew or a soup or taco meat or whatever. So batch cook the meats is really helpful, or just make salad for the week is really super helpful. And doing things of that nature, and then obviously getting your kids into a routine of helping you keep the kitchen clean and using leftovers. Because I think these are all life skills that they might not be at the front of our head or the front of our brain when we're thinking about what all goes into kitchen things. But we have to plan, we have to shop, we have to prepare, we have to clean up, we have to store the food that's left, and then we have to reuse the food that's left, unless we're just gonna like store it in our fridge and use it as compost later. But I think those are skills that are really useful for our kids. And summertime is a great time to say to one of your kids as they get older, hey, you've got Monday for food. You need to take care of it, and everybody needs fed. Just make some simple parameters for them, and make it a fun challenge. Like we will spend this much money, help them budget, help them shop, all those kind of things, and help them really have fun with it. The other thing, obviously, is laundry and clothes care. And we had 7 people in the far north, so we had boots and coats and long johns and things like that. Which, oh my word, sorting it through as your kids go can be a job in unto itself. So one of the things that we did was every spring we sorted and we got rid of things. Um, and it helped because I had 2 girls, 2 boys, and a girl. So honestly, by the time my little girl needed things, we often had to get things at the resale shop or new. They weren't passed downable. But I would say just make sure that you're sorting things out. Be really careful about how many clothes and shoes your kids really do need. because they might not need that many. And the more they have, the more they will try on, play dress up with, and toss on the floor, and then you will be doing the laundry again. So really help your kids understand how to take care of clothes. And then we had this system where we would just have people switch around laundry through the week. We had a clothes chute, so it was just easy to go to the laundry room, and somebody was assigned to put it in the washing machine, put it from the washer to the dryer, and then take it out of the dryer. And then once a week, all of us would spend about an hour and a half getting all the clothes, folding them, and putting them away. And we did that as a group because one thing that I think puts a lot of homeschool moms over the edge, or just moms in general, is having a lot of clean clothes all over the house. It just makes everything feel messy. It makes everything feel untidy. And pretty soon those clean clothes are on the floor and they're dirty again. And then you have to rewash them. So we had somebody really in charge of moving the laundry around and then shaking out and hanging up things like dad's dress shirts or whatever. And it did take some training to get the kids there. They didn't necessarily like it, but it did make everything easier to just fold it all together and have one or two folders and other people dispersed putting this stuff away, and putting it away in the right places. That's always super helpful. Um, so I hope that some of those routines and systems really help you as you're managing everything. The last thing I really want to talk about is scheduling, because I said I wasn't really a tight scheduler, but I'm a serious daytimer. And I've used bullet journals for years. I really like that style. I have by the month in front, and then I have by week after all the months. And so I've always taught my kids to use planners. It's been super helpful to them. This is teaching them executive functioning skills. One of the things I noticed as my kids are growing up is that when they have an activity, they don't know how to plan around the activity. So say they have karate at 4, and so they just put down karate 4 to 5, and they think it's a 1 hour activity. But what they're not taking into account is that they have to gather their things. They have a 20-minute drive. They have warm up. They go to karate. They have cool down. They come home. They take a shower. They need a snack. So really, it's like a 2 hour and 15 minutes, maybe even longer activity, not just a one. So having an adult help them talk around their schedule can be really super helpful to them. We always got planners for our kids by the time they were in upper elementary school. And the other thing we did was we had a family planning meeting every week, especially when all of our kids were at home, because we usually had people, the drivers, we usually had 3 or 4 drivers at a time at a certain point. And people would take cars and go drop people off. And we needed to make sure that everybody got up on time and brought back to where they needed to be. So having a family planning meeting is super helpful. Again, it teaches executive functioning skills, it teaches collaboration and teamwork, it teaches communication skills, and even creativity as you're learning to really flex and figure out, how does this work, or how do I do that? All those kind of soft skills, they're so important, more so than ever before as we enter this really super techie age that we're all a part of at this point. So the family planning meeting was super helpful, getting your kids day timers and even doing a challenge, honestly, in the summer about planning and activities. You could put your kids in charge of planning some of the activities and how you're going to manage all that. And doing a family planning meeting. We found that super, super helpful. So I hope these tips and tricks have been helpful to you. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me. You can find all of our classes, clubs, and moms membership at truenorthhomeschoolacademy.com. We are teaching an executive functioning skill class this year. We also have study skills classes taught both in the summer session, which begins June 6th, and the fall full year class, which starts August 22nd. We also have an amazing moms membership site called the Navigators. And this is where we come together for fellowship, for prayer, for parent equipping, because I think as homeschoolers, we're so concerned about what our kids need and making sure we have the right curriculum and we found the right classes and they're involved in the right activities. But often we forget that as the teacher and as the mentor to our kids, we need to fill our cup too. And we need to keep learning and growing and reading and just praying through all the things. And so that's what the Moms membership site, the Navigators at True North Homeschool Academy, is designed to do. It's mom to mom mentorship. Angie Farrell is in charge of it. She does a fantastic job. We have an online library full of great information for homeschooling moms to encourage and equip you. I hope again this session has been helpful to you. I'm Lisa Nehring from TrueNorthHomeschoolAcademy.com. It's been my honor to be here with you today, and I hope you take a minute to check out all of our offerings at TrueNorthHomeschoolAcademy.com. Thanks, everybody.